I welcome each one of you to our Advocate on Record Aspirants Academy. This is our lecture number 92. At the outset, I wish you a very happy new year, and every moment is a new year. So every moment has to be spent in a very pleasant manner by working very hard, by doing the smart work, being good and doing good to others. That is very, very important. We require minimum 3 strength. Firstly, physical strength. Secondly, mental strength. And what is the foundation for physical strength and mental strength? That is the spiritual strength. Believe in God. What is God? It is according to you. According to you, the profession is God. Maybe for others, the visible gods are our parents. Supreme Court is the Almighty for us because we belong to this system. So we need to have a mental frame, mindset, a good mindset. That is very important. So it is our regular practice that before we deal with any topic, we recite the preamble of the Constitution of India. That has become the hallmark of our AAA lectures. We strongly believe that our founding parents always had a vision for our nation, and how the vision was communicated to the younger generation like us, that is enshrined in the preamble of the Constitution of India. So I request each one of you to recite preamble along with me, dear friends. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Thank you so much, dear friends. In the previous lecture 91, we have seen the overview of the entire judgment, but I will be taking you to the relevant portions of the ratio decidendi in this judgment. I would like to read and make sure that you understand in a very clear manner. So, reason for the decision, I am not repeating the facts of the case. I will come directly for the reasons for the decision. A reference of Nabam Rabia to a larger bench. Why this was referred? Let us understand from their words. The Supreme Court noted that the correctness of Nabam Rabia was in doubt. This is a constitution bench. They are saying it was in doubt because it conflicted with the judgment in Quixote Holohan case. In what is the conflict? In Nabam Rabia, a constitution bench had held that speaker ought not to decide. So this is very important, dear friends. Please make a note. Speaker ought not to decide a disqualification proceedings once proceedings for the speaker's own removal had been initiated. When the speaker himself is facing a disqualification, how can he decide the disqualification petition of Mr. Eknath Shinde and his group? He cannot do it as per the constitution bench of Nabam Rabia case. But what is that yet another conflicting decision? There is Quixote Holohan, another constitution bench, had held that independence and impartiality of the speaker when adjudicating disqualification proceedings cannot be doubted. Who is the speaker? A neutral person, a fair person, impartial and independent person. How can you doubt his action? So, given that both decisions took divergent views on the independence of the speaker, the court referred the correctness of Nabam Rabia to a larger bench. The court found that the facts in Nabam Rabia were different from the present case, and thus the decision in Nabam Rabia would not apply to the present case. This is how they have distinguished. Now, what is the correctness is Nabam Rabia case is under consideration by the 7 judges bench. Ultimately, why they have referred? Two reasons. Now, position is unsettled. Whether speaker has the power or speaker does not possess the power. Two conflicting decisions and both are equally 5 judges bench. So, for authoritative pronouncement, it requires a larger bench decision. Need to have certainty, clarity, and settle the proposition of law. We are awaiting for authoritative pronouncement. Number 2, power of High Courts to decide disqualification petitions in the first instance. What are their powers? The petitioners argued that speaker cannot be entrusted to adjudicate the disqualification petitions fairly since he was appointed with the support of Mr. Shinde's MLAs against whom defection proceedings had initially been filed. The Supreme Court rejected the argument and held that under para 6 of the 10th schedule, the speaker had the exclusive jurisdiction to decide the disqualification petitions. Barring any exceptional factual circumstances, the court should not decide disqualification petitions. Only under the exceptional circumstances, court will decide the disqualification petition. Otherwise, speaker will decide. He is the authority, a constitutional authority. That is how we regard the constitutional values and the provisions. However, the court could review the final decision of the speaker. Once the speaker decided the matter, it is always subject to the judicial review. Number 3, validity of proceedings in the legislature during pendency of disqualification petitions. In this case, Mr. Eknath Shindeji is facing a disqualification. Now he participates in the legislative process. So is it valid proceedings or invalid proceedings? That is the question staring at our face. The petitioners contended that the validity of decisions taken by the legislature while the disqualification petitions were being decided would depend on the final outcome of the disqualification petitions. The Supreme Court rejected this contention and clarified that if a member incurs disqualification, then their seat shall become vacant only prospectively from their date of disqualification, and an MLA has a right to participate in the proceedings of the legislature until they are disqualified. Has a right to participate in the legislative process until they are disqualified. Otherwise, all the decisions of legislatures would become uncertain and unworkable as soon as disqualification petitions were initiated. Thus, proceedings in the legislature during the pendency of disqualification petitions were valid. Number 4, appointment of whip and leader of a legislature party. The Supreme Court highlighted that there was a difference between a political party and the legislature party. Under the 10th schedule, and the two terms are not one and the same. In the context of the 10th schedule, the legislature party consists only of those members of a political party who had been set up for election by the political party and have been elected to a seat in the legislature. Who is there in the assembly? Not all the members of the political party is not entering into the assembly, legislative assembly. Only the elected party, elected persons alone become a member of legislative assembly. So the court found that the speaker must recognize the whip and the leader of the legislature party that was appointed by the political party. Since the members of the legislature party are elected due to their affiliation to the political party and owe their allegiance to that political party, the court therefore held resolution removing Mr. Shinde as a group leader of Shiv Sena legislature party issued by Shiv Sena faction led by Mr. Thackeray was valid. There was a resolution passed by Mr. Uddhav Thackeray ji for the removal of Mr. Shinde that was valid. Resolution was valid for by removing Mr. Shinde as the group leader by Mr. Thackeray was valid as it represented the will of the political party under the Shiv Sena party's constitution. Now next, deciding who is the real Shiv Sena and allotment of the party symbol. Whether Election Commission of India should wait for the decision taken until the decision taken by the speaker, or whether speaker should wait for the decision to be taken by the Election Commission of India. What is the answer? The court, however, stated that the Election Commission can concurrently decide which faction can use the party symbol even while disqualification proceedings are ongoing. And both decisions means speaker's decision and the Election Commission of India's decision need not be the same as they are based on different considerations. The speaker decides disqualification petitions as and when they are initiated, while the decision of the Election Commission would only have prospective in effect and will not affect the decision of the speaker. Impact of deletion of para 3 of 10th schedule. This is important, dear friends. Para 3 of the 10th schedule, what does it say? It stated that a member of the legislature would not be subject to the disqualification if there was a split in the original party where 1/3 or more members separated to form a different political party from the original party. This was para 3 of the 10th schedule. But however, para 3 was deleted by the Constitution 91st Amendment Act 2003. Now what is the effect? Now we cannot say we have 1/3 majority or more than that, therefore it's a split. That defense cannot be taken by anyone. So the Supreme Court categorically stated that defense of split was now no longer available to any members who faced disqualification proceedings, regardless of whether such members claimed to belong to the original party or not. In this case, both factions, Uddhav Thackeray's faction as well as Mr. Shinde's faction, claimed to be the original Shiv Sena political party. So they never claimed split. They claimed that we are the original Shiv Sena party. Now, exercise of discretion by governor ordering the chief minister to face floor test and inviting a person to prove his majority in the legislature. The Supreme Court said governor can only order a floor test. When the governor can order for a floor test, he can order for a floor test requiring a chief minister to prove their majority based on objective material, which indicated that the chief minister had lost those material. What should indicate? It should indicate that the chief minister had lost the confidence of the legislature. In this case, the court found that there was no such objective material present and that the governor of Maharashtra called for a floor test based on the request of some MLAs only. So while this was not done in accordance with law, so governor inviting the chief minister, sitting chief minister to face the floor test was not in accordance with law. The court recognized that Mr. Thackeray had voluntarily resigned before facing the floor test, and this court could not reverse a voluntary resignation. So this is the ratio designated, dear friends. So thank you so much for your patience hearing. I am deeply obliged.